Life will always put us in situations where disrespect comes our way. Sometimes it happens in our workplace, sometimes in our family, and often from strangers who do not even know us. The natural reaction most people have is to respond with anger, to shout back, or to create a scene. But responding to disrespect with strength does not mean reacting in anger. It means holding your power, maintaining your dignity, and showing others that their behavior cannot shake your inner balance. When someone disrespects you, the first reaction that rises within you is often anger, hurt, or the urge to defend yourself. This is human nature. Our emotions are wired to protect our dignity. But here's the truth: reacting immediately, especially with anger, rarely protects you. It often gives the other person exactly what they wanted. Disrespect is often a test. It is someone trying to pull you into their storm. And the strongest response is not to let them succeed. That is why staying calm is such a powerful act of self-mastery. Calmness does not mean you accept disrespect. It does not mean you agree with it or allow it to continue. Calmness means you do not allow someone else's words or actions to control your inner world. Imagine this: someone insults you, expecting you to lash out, but instead you breathe deeply, hold your composure, and look at them steadily. In that moment, you show them that their disrespect has no power over you. You remain the master of yourself, not the victim of their behavior. When you stay calm, you give yourself the chance to think clearly. Reacting in anger clouds your judgment, often making you say or do things you later regret. But when you pause, when you breathe, and when you choose calmness, you create space between the disrespect and your response. In that space lies your power, the power to decide how you want to handle the situation in a way that preserves your dignity. Think about the greatest leaders, the people we admire in history or in our own lives. They were not people who shouted back at every insult. They were people who stayed composed, even under attack. Their calmness commanded respect because it showed strength. It showed discipline. It showed that they valued their peace more than their pride in the heat of the moment. Staying calm also protects your energy. Every time you explode in anger, you give away a piece of yourself to the person who disrespected you. But when you remain calm, you conserve your energy and keep it for what truly matters: your goals, your growth, and your happiness. Why waste your fire on someone whose words or actions don't define your worth? Some may confuse calmness with weakness. They may think, if I don't react, people will see me as powerless. But the truth is exactly the opposite. Anyone can shout back, but very few can stay calm. It takes inner strength, maturity, and courage to maintain composure when provoked. Calmness is not surrender, it is strategy. It is saying, I will not lower myself to your level. I will not give you control over me. To develop this calmness, practice is required. It begins with self-awareness. The next time someone disrespects you, notice the rise of anger within yourself. Instead of letting it explode, pause. Take a slow breath. Remind yourself, I choose calmness. I control my response. With time, this becomes a habit. You begin to notice that disrespect no longer shakes you as easily as before. You begin to walk into situations with a quiet confidence, knowing that no one has the power to disturb your peace unless you give it to them. In the end, calmness is not just a response to disrespect. It is a way of living. It is choosing to stay rooted like a strong tree in the middle of a storm. The wind may blow, people may throw stones, but you remain standing, steady and unshaken. That is real strength. That is self-mastery. And that is why staying calm in the face of disrespect will always be one of the most powerful ways to rise above it. Setting clear and firm boundaries protects your dignity and teaches others how to treat you. One of the most powerful life skills you can ever develop is the ability to set boundaries. Boundaries are not about being rude or shutting people out. They are about self-respect. They are about drawing a line that says, this is how I deserve to be treated, and I will not accept less. When you fail to set boundaries, you give people permission to mistreat you, whether they mean to or not. But when you are clear and firm with your limits, you protect your dignity and you teach others the standard by which you expect to be treated. Disrespect often comes from people testing your limits. They may use harsh words, sarcastic comments, or dismissive attitudes to see how far they can go. If you allow it once, they learn that it's acceptable. But if you stop it immediately, calmly but firmly, they realize you are not someone who tolerates mistreatment. Boundaries are your shield. They defend you without you having to fight every battle. Setting boundaries is also an act of self-love. It is a way of telling yourself, I am worthy of respect, and I will not compromise my worth for the approval of others. Too often, people stay silent in the face of disrespect because they fear conflict or they don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. But the truth is, every time you allow someone to cross your boundaries, you hurt yourself. You send yourself the message that your feelings are less important than keeping the peace. Over time, this erodes your self-esteem. A strong boundary can be as simple as words like, I do not appreciate being spoken to that way. If you continue talking like this, I will remove myself from the conversation. I value respect in my relationships, and this behavior is not acceptable to me. Notice how these statements are not angry, not insulting, but firm. They do not attack the other person, they protect you. That is the beauty of boundaries. They are not about controlling others, but about controlling what you will and will not allow in your space. Boundaries are also essential for healthy relationships. Whether it's family, friends, or colleagues, people respect those who respect themselves. When you are clear about your limits, others know how to interact with you without overstepping. And if they do overstep, they also know there will be consequences, like you distancing yourself or refusing to engage. This clarity creates trust and respect. People may not always like your boundaries, but deep down, they will admire you for having them. At first, setting boundaries may feel uncomfortable. You might worry that people will think you are difficult or cold, but over time, you will realize that the people who truly care about you will respect your limits, while the ones who get angry or dismissive were never truly respecting you to begin with. Boundaries reveal who values you and who only values what they can get from you. Think of boundaries like the fences around a house. The fence doesn't mean you hate your neighbors or want to cut yourself off from the world. It simply means you decide who comes into your yard and you protect the peace inside your home. Similarly, boundaries create a safe, emotional space where you can thrive without being constantly drained or disrespected by others. Ultimately, setting boundaries is not just about stopping disrespect. It is about building a life where you are surrounded by respect, peace, and mutual understanding. It is about creating relationships that uplift you, not relationships that diminish you. Each time you enforce a boundary, you strengthen your self-worth. You remind yourself and others that your dignity is non-negotiable. So remember this, boundaries are not selfish, they are essential. They are not walls to isolate you. They are gates that allow the right people in and keep harmful behavior out. By setting clear and firm boundaries, you teach the world how to treat you, and you protect the most valuable thing you own, your self-respect. Silence can be a powerful response, sending a message without wasting unnecessary energy. When faced with disrespect, most people instinctively want to respond. They feel the urge to defend themselves, to prove the other person wrong, or to throw words back with equal force. But not every disrespectful remark deserves your energy, and not every battle is worth fighting. Sometimes the strongest response is silence. Silence is not weakness, and it is not avoidance. It is a deliberate choice to rise above the noise and to protect your peace. Words are powerful, but so is the absence of them. When someone disrespects you and you choose silence, you send a message that their words hold no weight in your world. You demonstrate that their behavior is beneath your level of engagement. Instead of fueling the fire with your reaction, you let the fire burn out on its own. Silence removes the audience that disrespect thrives on. Without your reaction, the person trying to provoke you is left powerless. Think about it. Disrespect is often a way for people to seek attention or control. They insult, mock, or belittle, hoping to get a rise out of you. If you explode in anger, they succeed. If you argue endlessly, they succeed. But if you remain silent, they fail. They are left frustrated because their attempt to disturb your peace has no effect. Your silence is louder than any comeback could ever be. Silence also gives you time to reflect. Not every disrespectful comment deserves an immediate reaction. In fact, reacting too quickly often makes situations worse. By staying quiet even for a few moments, you give yourself space to evaluate, is this situation worth my words? Is this person even deserving of my response? Often, you'll realize the answer is no. That pause protects you from unnecessary conflict and keeps you aligned with your dignity. There is also a deeper psychological effect to silence. When someone insults you and you remain calm and silent, they are forced to sit with their own words. They hear themselves louder. They feel the weight of what they said without you absorbing it. In many cases, Your silence makes them reflect in ways your arguments never could. Sometimes the greatest teacher is not your voice, but your refusal to engage. Of course, silence doesn't mean you always ignore disrespect entirely. It means you choose carefully when to speak and when not to. There are moments when silence is your shield, and there are moments when words are necessary to set boundaries. But the wisdom lies in knowing the difference. Silence is a tool, not an escape. It is about conserving your energy for situations that matter, instead of wasting it on those that don't. Another benefit of silence is that it demonstrates maturity and self-control. Anyone can snap back when provoked. It takes real strength to remain composed. When others see that you are not easily shaken, they begin to respect you, even if they don't say it aloud. They realize you are not someone who can be manipulated with insults or disrespect. You carry yourself with quiet authority, and that is far more intimidating than shouting could ever be. Think of silence as a kind of discipline. Just as a warrior chooses when to fight, you choose when to speak. Your silence is not emptiness, it is strategy. It says, I will not waste my breath on what does not deserve it. I will not feed negativity with my attention. I value my peace too much. In life, you cannot stop people from being disrespectful, but you can control how much of your energy you give them. Silence allows you to protect that energy. It allows you to keep your focus on what truly matters, your growth, your goals, your peace of mind. And in the end, silence often speaks louder than words ever could. When faced with disrespect, many people feel torn between two extremes, either staying silent and feeling powerless, or exploding in anger and regretting it later. But there is a middle path, one that commands respect without creating unnecessary conflict. Confidence. Confidence is the art of expressing yourself clearly, calmly, and firmly, without sliding into aggression. It is strength under control, authority without hostility. Aggression may feel powerful in the moment, but it often backfires. Shouting, insulting, or trying to dominate others may silence them temporarily, but it also damages your image, your relationships, and your peace of mind. Aggression is reactive. It shows that someone else has pulled your strings. Confidence, on the other hand, is proactive. It shows that you are in charge of yourself, that you can stand your ground without losing balance. People may not always agree with you, but they will respect the way you carry yourself. Confidence begins with body language. When someone disrespects you, your posture, your eyes, and your tone send messages before your words do. Standing tall, keeping your shoulders back, looking directly at the person, and speaking in a steady tone communicates authority without aggression. You don't need to raise your voice to be heard. You only need to speak with conviction. A calm, steady voice is often more powerful than the loudest shout. Next, confidence is about the words you choose. Instead of reacting emotionally, you respond with clarity. You might say, I don't appreciate being spoken to that way. If you'd like to continue this conversation, let's do it respectfully. I deserve to be treated with dignity, and this behavior is not acceptable. These statements are firm but not hostile. They don't attack the person, they address the behavior. This distinction is important. Attacking the person creates defensiveness and escalates conflict, while addressing the behavior communicates your boundary and your self-respect. Confidence also requires emotional control. To respond with confidence, you must resist the urge to let your emotions hijack the moment. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings, but rather channeling them into strength. Anger can fuel aggression, but self-control transforms that same energy into a confident presence. When people see that you can stay composed under pressure, they sense your inner strength. Another important part of confidence is consistency. If you only stand up for yourself sometimes, but allow disrespect at other times, people will not take your words seriously. Confidence is built when your actions align with your boundaries repeatedly. Each time you calmly respond to disrespect, you reinforce the message, I respect myself and I expect others to do the same. Over time, people learn how to treat you because you have taught them through consistent confidence. Confidence also frees you from needing approval. Many people struggle with disrespect because they want everyone to like them. They stay quiet out of fear of conflict or rejection, but true confidence comes from within. It is knowing your worth, regardless of what others think. When you carry this inner assurance, you don't feel the need to argue or prove yourself to everyone. You know who you are, and you let that truth guide your responses. Finally, confidence inspires respect in others. Even those who may not like you will recognize your strength. People admire individuals who can stand their ground without losing their cool. By being confident, you not only protect yourself from disrespect, but also set an example for others around you. You show them that it is possible to be firm without being aggressive, strong without being hostile. In the end, handling disrespect is not about overpowering others, it is about empowering yourself. Aggression shouts, "I am insecure." Confidence declares, "I am in control." And when you respond to disrespect with confidence, you send a powerful message. You cannot be shaken, you cannot be disrespected into silence, and you cannot be pulled into unnecessary battles. You rise above with strength, dignity, and authority. Walking away is not surrender, but wisdom, choosing peace over pointless conflict. When someone disrespects you, it's tempting to stay and fight. You want to defend your honor, prove them wrong, or make sure they understand the weight of their actions. But not every battle is worth your time, energy, or peace. One of the strongest responses you can give to disrespect is the ability to walk away, not out of fear, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. Walking away is an act of strength that says, "I value my peace more than this argument." There is a common misconception that walking away means you've lost. Society often teaches us that winners never quit, or that strength means standing your ground at all costs. But true strength is not about fighting every battle, it's about choosing which battles matter. If the outcome of the conflict won't bring growth, respect, or resolution, then staying is nothing more than wasted energy. Walking away is not defeat, it is strategy. It is protecting your mental, emotional, and even physical health. When you walk away, you reclaim your power. Disrespect often comes from people who want to provoke you. They thrive on your reaction. By engaging with them, you feed their need for control. But when you calmly remove yourself, you starve their attempt to manipulate you. You show them that your self-respect is stronger than their insults. You show them that you cannot be controlled by their negativity. Walking away also demonstrates self-awareness. It means you recognize that the conversation or confrontation has no constructive outcome. If the other person is not willing to listen, change, or communicate respectfully, then your presence only fuels the cycle. Instead of wasting your words on someone who refuses to understand, you invest your energy elsewhere, on people who value you and on goals that matter. This self-awareness is a form of maturity, a sign that you no longer allow every disrespectful person to pull you into chaos. Another important aspect of walking away is emotional discipline. It takes great courage to resist the urge to lash out, to throw words back, or to prove yourself in the moment. But choosing to leave quietly requires more control than staying to argue. It shows that your emotions serve you rather than you serving your emotions. When people see you walk away with composure, they realize your dignity is untouchable. It's important to understand that walking away doesn't always mean leaving physically. It can also mean disengaging mentally and emotionally. Sometimes you can't physically walk away, such as in a workplace meeting or family setting. In those cases, walking away can mean withdrawing your energy, refusing to argue, or keeping your responses minimal and calm. You are present in body, but absent from the drama. You protect your peace by not feeding into the negativity. Think of walking away as a filter for your life. It separates the situations worth your effort from those that are beneath your values. It keeps you from drowning in unnecessary battles. Over time, this habit strengthens your focus. You no longer scatter your energy across meaningless conflicts, but conserve it for your personal growth, your ambitions, and the relationships that uplift you. And here is the ultimate truth: walking away often leaves a lasting impression. The person who disrespected you may expect anger, shouting, or endless debate, but when you quietly exit, they are forced to sit with their own actions. They may feel embarrassed, guilty, or reflective. Silence combined with absence is a mirror that makes people face themselves. That impact is often stronger than any words you could have spoken. In the end, walking away is not running from the problem, it is rising above it. It is declaring that your peace matters more than winning an argument. It is choosing growth over drama, clarity over chaos, and wisdom over pride. When you walk away, you do not lose. You win the most important victory of all, the victory over yourself. True strength lies not in reacting, but in protecting your self-respect and responding with dignity. In a world where disrespect can come from anyone, strangers, colleagues, even loved ones, The way you respond defines your character far more than the act of disrespect itself. Many people believe that strength is shown by reacting instantly, raising your voice, firing back insults, or proving your superiority. But true strength is not about being louder or harsher than the one who disrespected you. True strength is about restraint, self-respect, and the ability to respond in a way that protects your dignity. Reacting impulsively often feels satisfying in the moment, but it usually diminishes you. When you let anger drive your actions, you hand over your power to the person who triggered you. They control you because they dictated your behavior. But when you choose dignity, you regain control. You send a message not only to others but also to yourself. I decide how I respond. I will not let anyone drag me below my standards. That is the essence of strength. Protecting your self-respect means recognizing your worth regardless of how others treat you. Disrespect is often a reflection of the other person's character, not yours. If someone mocks you, belittles you, or tries to humiliate you, their behavior says more about their insecurities than about your value. Dignity is reminding yourself of this truth in the moment. It is refusing to let another person's words define you. Responding with dignity can take many forms. Sometimes it's speaking calmly but firmly to set boundaries. Sometimes it's using silence to show that the insult does not deserve acknowledgement. Sometimes it's walking away to protect your peace. In each case, dignity means you rise above the situation instead of sinking into it. You don't play their game. You play by your own rules, rules rooted in respect for yourself. Consider how dignity influences perception. Imagine two people being insulted in public. One explodes in anger, shouting and making a scene. The other stands calmly, looks the insulter in the eye, and responds with a measured statement, or chooses to walk away. Who leaves a stronger impression? Who seems more powerful? Always the one who remained dignified. Because dignity commands respect not through force, but through self-control. Dignity also has long-term rewards. When you respond to disrespect with grace, you protect your reputation. People remember how you carried yourself under pressure. They may forget the words that were said, but they will never forget the strength you showed by refusing to stoop to the level of disrespect. Over time, this builds trust and admiration, making you someone others look up to. There is also a personal peace that comes from dignity. When you choose not to react impulsively, you avoid the regret of saying things you didn't mean. You sleep at night with a clear conscience, knowing you did not betray your values for the sake of temporary pride. Dignity spares you from the emotional chaos that comes with unnecessary conflict. It keeps you steady, balanced, and aligned with the person you aspire to be. Of course, dignity does not mean being passive or allowing repeated disrespect. It means choosing responses that protect both your peace and your principles. You can stand up for yourself without losing composure. You can be firm without being cruel. This balance is the true mark of strength. Anyone can react, few can rise above. In life, disrespect is inevitable, but how you respond is always your choice. Strength is not about overpowering others. It is about mastering yourself. Each time you protect yourself, respect, and respond with dignity, you win a battle far more important than any argument, the battle to remain true to who you are. That is the kind of strength that lasts.